While there are definitely some players you need to be picking up off the waiver wire, at the same time, there are some wide receiver landmines that I want to tell you exactly why you should be avoiding, starting off with a pair of teammates. Now, I know that not everybody's going to run out there and go grab up Kendrick Bourne, but I mean, hell, Bourne had a great week this week, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, he went out there and he had 6 receptions, 64 receiving yards, and multiple receiving touchdowns. Now, I understand everybody's going to go ahead and they're going to say, oh, okay, well, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you don't really have Juju doing anything. You don't really have anybody else here in this offense. Kendrick Bourne's the wide receiver 1 for the New England Patriots. Kendrick Bourne is someone that we can go out there and we can start every single week. Let's be realistic with this, ladies and gentlemen. Kendrick Bourne's 28 years old. Do you think that Kendrick Bourne has finally put it together at 28 years old and he is finally someone you can start? No. Sometimes players have big games. Sometimes a random wide receiver will score multiple receiving touchdowns. Now, I do think that he's going to have a large role in this New England Patriots offense. And if you drafted him like an underdog basketball tournament, bravo. That's exactly where you want a player like this that will randomly every once in a while give you a touchdown. I mean, you go back to last year, you saw Kendrick Bourne, against the Bengals have 100 receiving yards, 6 receptions, and a receiving touchdown. Outside of that, a bunch of weeks with like 18 receiving yards. I mean, hell, you go back to 2021, gave you another week, 98 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. He gave you another week, 96 receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. We've seen this story before. Ultimately, at the end of the day, there were 54 passing attempts from Mac Jones here, ladies and gentlemen. When there are 54 passing attempts, I think that means we probably discount the 11 targets that Kendrick Bourne walked away with. I mean, if you really are desperate for a wide receiver, you can do it, but don't be dropping anybody exciting. Now, however, someone in this offense in Hunter Henry is a player that I'm willing to go out there and pick up, where Hunter Henry does see the 6 targets, 5 receptions, 56 receiving yards. We know the threshold for a tight end to get into your starting lineup is going to be much lower than wide receiver, especially when pretty much every tight end in fantasy football right now is dealing with injuries. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead. I think that Hunter Henry is actually the guy that you want to pick up in this offense. If you look at Gesicki only had 3 targets in comparison to Hunter Henry at 6. And this goes with the continued trends of the reports that we had in the preseason and in training camp that Hunter Henry was the guy. Right now, Kendrick Bourne rostered in 2% of Yahoo leagues, whereas Hunter Henry is rostered in 16%. Now, going over to another pair of teammates where we have a clear void and I guess someone we can go and start now. For the love of God, I've seen some of y'all pick up Josh Reynolds. What are we doing here? Similar story. These aren't wide receivers you pick up just because they had a big week. Yes, I understand. We are all very excited for Thursday. We are all super pumped to watch the Lions and Chiefs. And yeah, Josh Reynolds, was the leading receiver there with 80 receiving yards. He's a trap. He's not someone with realistic upside. We will have players with upside later on. Do not pick up Josh Reynolds. However, Sam Laporta is only rostered in 65% of Yahoo leagues right now. And I was saying, yeah, avoid Sam Laporta. Don't start him week 1. Just play him for the long-term upside. Well, now I think Laporta is actually going to be startable. Because, we've talked about it before, but this is a phenomenal situation that you have for the Detroit Lions here. And Sam Laporta, as a rookie tight end in his first NFL game ever, went out there and had 5 receptions, 39 receiving yards. Now, obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown will be seeing the majority of the volume here. Amon-Ra St. Brown does lead the team with targets, and it is a little concerning knowing that St. Brown's going to be the wide receiver operating a little closer to the line of scrimmage. But nonetheless, Laporta is someone that you can definitely go out there and pick up, definitely someone that you can play. Now, going over to our next wide receiver, I need to take a massive L. I told everybody this week that you had to bench Puka. I said Puka was a wide receiver that nobody should consider starting. I thought it was crazy that people were considering starting a rookie wide receiver that went round 5 of the NFL draft that was going to be in a very bad offense. I even tweeted it out saying, don't do this. And of course, Puka goes out there and he absolutely crushes. So I owe you a very genuine apology. If I told you to bench him week 1, I am sorry, and that is 100% my fault, and I'm going to try to do better next time. Now, with that being said, the man is the clear wide receiver 1 for the Los Angeles Rams. You go through and see the fact that this is his first NFL game ever. He has 15 targets, 10 receptions, 119 receiving yards. Now, this isn't a cheapo 15 targets and Matthew Stafford had 54 passing attempts. This isn't a Kendrick Bourne, Mac Jones situation where there were just so many passing attempts that, of course, he's going to see some volume. No, with the Los Angeles Rams, there are only 37 targets to go around. So let me get out a little calculator here to tell you the exact target share that you had in this offense. You were looking at a 40% target share from a rookie wide receiver in his first NFL game ever. Yeah, please, ladies and gentlemen, go out there, make him the number one waiver wire pickup at the wide receiver position this week. Only rostered in about 5% of leagues. Like I was saying previously, I'm sorry for saying that he was not a start and he had no upside week one. Long term, it's a different story. This is the prototype that we are going for with our waiver wire wide receivers. Not the 28-year-old Kendrick Bourne that just has some random big game because Mac Jones has 55 passing attempts. No, we're going for the rookie wide receiver that comes in and sees a 40% team target share. Now, of course, if Cooper Kupp comes back in week 5, then yeah, he's not going to be startable and Kupp's going to go right back to seeing his 40% team target share. But until then, I mean, I don't necessarily know if we can bank on Cooper Kupp being a viable option in this offense. But as we move down to our next guy, please, if you have not done so already, go down there, drop a like on this live stream. Subscribe to the channel if you play fantasy football. And we will be live tonight after the Buffalo Bills game. If you want to come out and hang out with us in that live stream, make sure you hit the bell next to the subscribe button. And also, for that Buffalo Bills game, definitely go and check out those pick'ems that they have on Underdog Fantasy. This is my favorite pick'em that we have currently to pair with the Josh Allen exclusive promo code FLOCK, more than less than half a passing yard that we got, everybody. But it's not too late if you want to still get on Underdog, promo code FLOCK. You're going to get a 100% deposit match up to $200. You get our 2023 fantasy football rankings and a mystery special pick'em to go along with that. But now let's go over to our next wide receiver. Jacoby Myers is rostered in exactly 50% of leagues right now. Now, Myers isn't going to be a top option for us, given the fact that he is dealing with a concussion. We don't know when he is going to be available. But, I mean, hell, he looked really good week one. He had 10 targets in a passing offense that only had 26 attempts to go around. He out-targeted Devontae Adams. And what is most encouraging here is this going to be a wide receiver, and this is going to be an overall situation where you don't have a wide receiver 3, you don't have a wide receiver 4, you don't have a wide receiver 5 getting a considerable amount of targets. Like you go over to New England, I mean, hell, Juju gets 7 targets, Zeke 7 targets, Montgomery 3 targets, Boutte 4 targets, Gesicki 3, and Demario Douglas 7. Whereas in Las Vegas, you have Myers at 10, Devontae Adams at 9, Josh Jacobs at 3, and nobody else with more than 1. There are only going to be 3 players in this Las Vegas Raiders offense that are even involved. Jacoby Myers looks to be one of those guys. So if all of a sudden Jimmy Garoppolo is able to put together, I think this is a player you can be somewhat excited about. We know that he was a target hog back in New England. And most excitingly, I mean, the Raiders went out there and they gave him a pretty nice contract. They gave the 26-year-old wide receiver, $33 million, 21 of which is guaranteed. So yeah, I mean, seeing this kind of target share, I'm about going to pick him up. Now, going over to our next offense, I'm going to throw 2 players on here. We will include a quarterback on this list, ladies and gentlemen. Jordan Love, rostered in 31% of leagues, looks to be a pickup right now. Jordan Love went out there and he had 3 passing touchdowns, 245 passing yards, 0 interceptions with only 27 pass attempts. Jordan Love looks like he may be taking the torch from Rodgers. Obviously, I'm not saying he's going to be as good as Rodgers, but I'm saying he's probably going to be able to beat the Bears, probably going to be able to beat the Lions. I know people hate hearing that, but nonetheless, he looks pretty damn good. The situation's only going to get better as well. I mean, Romeo Doubs obviously was banged up this week. Reports going into the game were that he was going to be on a snap count. And then on top of that, you were looking at the fact that you had no Christian Watson, the number 1 wide receiver in this offense. So you had a bunch of pass catchers here that literally had no NFL experience, yet Jordan Love was still able to get it done. Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to say Love is worth the pickup. But what is a little concerning is he only had 12 rushing yards. Looks like the rushing upside's not going to be there. But hell, if Christian Watson comes in the future, I think Love's even better. And then going over to Luke Musgrave at only 19%. Told everybody bench Luke Musgrave. Like we said, we have a simple rule. We bench rookie tight ends. But once we see the production, I'm willing to go out there and I'm willing to get him. I mean, yes, it will be a little bit tougher when you have a fully healthy Romeo Doubs, when you have Christian Watson back in this offense. But still in his first NFL game ever, he still sees 4 targets, 3 receptions, and 50 receiving yards. Tight end is a wasteland right now. And Luke Musgrave only rostered in about 19% of leagues. Now, going over to another tight ends. I know we don't have too many wide receivers to talk about, but I feel like it maybe is even more important to talk about tight end than wide receiver with the landscape right now. Zach Ertz had 10 targets this week. Zach Ertz, 10 targets out of 30 overall passing attempts for the Arizona Cardinals. So looks like Ertz is going to be the number one weapon. He had a 33% team target share this week. Now, with this being said, the Arizona Cardinals passing offense was as bad, if not even worse, than how we thought it was going to be week 1. I mean, the leading receiver here, 33 receiving yards for Rondale Moore. Behind that, 28 receiving yards for Hollywood Brown. Hell, Trey McBride actually had more receiving yardage than Zach Ertz. But overall, Ertz, 10 targets, whereas Trey McBride only had 2 targets. So Ertz will definitely be the guy that I'm going with here. Now, it's going to be very dependent on your league format, ladies and gentlemen. The overall issue that you are going to have with the Arizona Cardinals is there will be no touchdown upside in this offense. Where is touchdown upside most important? That's going to be in your non-PPR format. That's going to be in your half PPR league, where you can still get away with going through and starting someone like Zach Ertz at tight end in a league that's full PPR, where touchdown upside is going to matter just inherently a little bit less, where even if he doesn't score a touchdown, hell, at the end of the day, if he goes out there and has 6 receptions, 21 receiving yards, he can still be viable as a tight end, even if we're never too excited. Now, going over to Hayden Hurst, he's rostered in a few more leagues than Zach Ertz. He's rostered in 11% of leagues, but he looked like the number one receiver for Bryce Young in this offense. He had 7 targets, he had 5 receptions, 41 receiving yards, and the receiving touchdown. Now, I know the initial reaction a lot of people are going to have saying, well, Mason, Adam Thielen dealing with the ankle. DJ Chark was also missing this game. But nonetheless, I mean, if we're going to be realistic, DJ Chark comes back in. And with DJ Chark back in this offense, does he line up in the same area of the football field as Hayden Hurst? Are they seeing the same targets? No. Hayden Hurst operating extremely close to the line of scrimmage. DJ Chark is going to be the deep threat in this offense that is going to stretch NFL defenses, hopefully be a headache for defensive coordinators, and hopefully actually create space underneath for some of these wide receivers to operate. So I would say Adam Thielen is actually going to be a much bigger concern for Hayden Hurst than what you possibly have with DJ Chark. And yeah, I mean, I think that if you're just looking at Hayden Hurst, if you have a tight end 1, I mean, that's on a team with a rookie quarterback that's leading his team in targets. He got paid. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to pick up Hayden Hurst. I think that he's a low-end tight end 1, high-end tight end 2 until further notice. But I think that's all I have for y'all in this video. Please, if you think that I missed out on someone, let me know down there in the comment section. And also, down there in the comment section, you can find a link to Underdog Fantasy, where you can check out all these pick'ems for Monday nights. And if you use promo code FLOCK, they're going to match your first deposit dollar for dollar up to 100. Plus, you'll get our 2023 fantasy football rankings. You will be able to take advantage of an additional mystery special pick'em on Underdog Fantasy. I believe that's all I have for you, though. Thank you so much, everybody. Really do appreciate you. Really hope you have a great day. Drop a like, subscribe to the channel. And one last thing, we are hiring. If you are a developer/data engineer, find all the requirements there. Find the contact info here. We'll be excited to hear from you. But thank you again. Really appreciate y'all, and really hope I get to see you in the live stream later tonight.